Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. Here, I'm going to talk about composition of a function or composition of functions. So basically, here is a chain of function that is built up such that the output of one function is the input of the next. So for instance, in a previous video, or I talked about if you have several functions, like we have maybe f of x to be equal to x squared plus 3, okay? This is what we call a composition of function if you look at it carefully, because let's say x is equal to 2, okay? So what happens here is that you have the 2, okay, that comes into the first function. Let's call the function f of a, which is this, which is raised to power 2, and that will give you 4, right? So now this 4 that you have here is going to be the input for the next one. And let's call it the second function b. Okay, so it's something you already know, we're just trying to bring it to life. So now this 4 plus what? 3, and that will give you what? 7. Does that make sense? So that means we have two functions here. So the first function was f of a, x. That was x squared, okay? Then we now use the second function, which is f of bx, which is now x plus what? 3. So that means we have two functions here. So that means we can now say this, for instance, could be a function fz, for instance. So that means I can now say fz is the composite function of both fa and fb. Okay, so let me put it. Does that make sense? So fz is a composite function or a composition of a function of fa and fb. All right. So usually, how do you solve composition of function? I have two rules, okay? I have two rules. So usually, moving forward, you'll be noticing I've been mentioning some rules, okay? It's just a guideline, all right? So that it helps you to when you solve it. But when you start solving questions, you don't need these rules because it's just gonna be implied and you tend to know them very well, okay? So the first one you have to do is that you have to substitute the inner function. Okay, so you have to substitute the inner function. So as the x variable of the outer function. Okay, so what you do first is that you have to substitute the inner function as the x variable of the outer function. Then after what you've done that, the next thing you do is to what? Simplify. Is that okay? So I'm gonna pick maybe 1 or 2 examples in this video. Then in the next video, I'm gonna solve maybe 3 or 4 more, and then we'll now move to the next topic. Is that okay? So let's just pick a quick example here. Let's say we have a of x. So let's say if we have a of x to be, let's say x plus 3, and we have b of x to be equal to 4x. And you are now told to find f of x such that f of x is called b a of x. So now you see in this question here, you can see that the inner function is ax and the outer function is b. That makes sense? So in this question, ax is the inner function and b is the outer function, okay? So the rule says that you substitute the inner function as the x variable of the outer function. So basically, where you see the outer function, anywhere you see x in the outer function, you substitute the inner function there. So it's going to be 4. We have x here, it's going to be x plus what? 3. Does that make sense? And you open the bracket, it's going to give you 4x plus 12. And that will be the answer for that. Okay? So let's solve another one. Same thing. So if you have g of x, and we're told it's a, for instance, a, b, x. Now in this example, bx is the inner function, all right? And A is the outer function. So that means in this case here, anywhere you see in the outer function of A, anywhere you see X, you substitute B as the X. So that means here, you're gonna have A is what? X plus 3. So anywhere you see X, you put the B, that is gonna be 4X plus what? 3. And that will be the answer for that, okay? That is that for that, okay? So in the next video, I'm going to solve more examples. So basically, what I've just said here is that when you are having a composition of functions, and you have two functions, you have the inner function and you have the outer function. Now, for the inner function, you use the inner function as the x variable of the outer function. Is that okay? So, and then you simplify. So the first thing you do is you get the function that you're looking at for. Anywhere you see the outer function, anywhere you see the x, you replace it with the inner function. So like in this case here, where we have b ax, so b is the outer function, a is the inner function. So in the b here, anywhere you see x, you put the inner function, and that's how you do, and you simplify. All right, thank you for that. So I'm going to see you in the next video. I'm going to solve more examples. And after that, we'll take it up from there. All right, see you very soon. Don't forget, if you have any questions, don't forget to put it in the comment section, or you can comment, or you can send me directly a message, and I'll get back to you. See you soon.